Uh, I'm going to put two objects here. Let me bring my player back into the center. It is, that is. So I'm going to create two game objects. I'll just take a capsule. If I click on this gear, I can say reset position, comes back to 0, 0, 0. So I'm just going to put a capsule up here. I'll just quickly go to materials, take the player material. I'll press Ctrl D to make a duplicate, and I'll call it health. Because it's health, I'm going to give it a color of green. Okay, and the health will be added to, I'll call the capsule health pack. Health pack, I'm going to call it. And I'm going to give it the health material, so it becomes green. Cool. I'm also going to create another object, cube. I'm going to call this guy enemy. Now in my script, it's not the name that I will be referring it to. I'll be referring to the tag. So have a look at this. You see the tag is untagged. But I'll just give the enemy also. I'll make the player blue. So I'll make a copy of player. I'll make the player blue. And this one I'm going to call enemy. I'm going to make the enemy red, and enemy goes to enemy. So I've got a player, I've got an enemy. Now, when we start dealing with collisions, our player must have a rigid body to actually be able to collide with things. So let's add a component called rigid body to the player. Okay. Also, let us add a rigid body to the enemy. By default, gravity is on, which basically means it will sit on the floor and it will rest. This one also, I'm going to add a component rigid body. But this one, the health pack, health packs are usually things that you can walk through, or anything, pickups. So bear in mind, when you add the rigid body, you must specify in the collider. The collider is what causes the collision, right? You must specify that it's a trigger. Actually, no, this one does not need a rigid body. Sorry, my bad. This one just needs to be a trigger. That's because of my ref.cs. I'm going to just going to cut this out from here. I'm going to put it in my notepad as well. I need those scripts for later on. What is the need I just put the scripts here for the time being. Yep. And ref.cs I'm going to delete. I don't need it for now. So I've got this object, and you can see he goes through the green guy because that's a trigger. He can walk through it. Let's see if he can walk through the red guy. See, they're both rigid bodies, and he toppled. And now my XY is gone because the rigid body. Let me play this again. Steven missed all the fun. So, see, because it's a rigid body, all the bounce in the physics, and that's what the game engine does for you. It gives you the physics, which is why you can do your projectile without actually really working out the speed and everything, half mv squared, using all those physics formulas. Now there's one thing I need to do. My player, And it's good that this happened. Please see this. Player, you can actually have constraints. You see the constraints? He's moving in X and Z. I can freeze the rotation in X, Y, and Z, which means he will not rotate and topple over. Now if I've frozen it, bang, yeah, doesn't topple over. But this one is a trigger. Cool. And this one is a guy that I can actually hit. Now bear in mind, my health and score are actually controlled, right? My health and score are variables which I can control. So what I'm going to do is, if I go over a green capsule, I'm going to give myself +1. And if I hit the red capsule, I'm going to reduce my health. Now the two scripts that help you do such a thing, which are essential parts of scoring and winning and losing. One is, and these are C# scripts, bear in mind. These are C# scripts. Where did we go? Sometimes when you look out for the collision script, you'll come across JavaScript scripts. Sometimes you'll come across older scripts. So make sure you get the latest scripts. Now look at this. And Brian was confused here. You see this arrow here? This is update. Look at the arrow. Update starts here, update ends here. Okay. I'm going to just put these outside of update. My object is a variable, and I'm saying that if that variable's game tag is equal to enemy, if it is enemy, then let me get a variable called score. Remember, in my variables, I used UI in my variables. I used Unity Engine UI. I'm going to bring that here. Also in my variables, when we were doing, we had a player score and we had a score. So we need an integer for score. So I'm going to come inside. I'm defining a variable for integer. I don't need to set it to 999. Because I have UI, I can use a text score, and we already have that. So public text player score. We have a health somewhere. Health is a floating point decimal. Then I come here, that's health. And then I have public image health. These are the variables I've got from our previous exercise. Score, public text, then health and player health. Okay? When you save it and you come here and you go to player, you will see where did spear come from? I was just playing with the previous rigid body weapon. Don't need this. My script certainly has got an error. Oh, I was doing this attack. Fire on control. I'm going to kill this. Fire on control. It didn't work. We'll do that later. So let's come here. I've saved it now. Should work. Yeah, public score. Now, what was the score here? That text variable here. You see this text variable here under canvas. Score. Was that the score? No. We had score title and score variable. Yep. This score variable and score title. So the score variable and health variable. It's the green one that we want to move. Cool, no problem. So when we go to our player and we go near the script, we have got score and health. Health is an image. Health is an image. The green one is the one we are going to reduce. So I'm going to drag it here. Score is the score. So I'm going to drag that here. So as I give the player score, this will get updated. This score here. And if you don't like the black, I'm just going to make it yellow. And I think I can even give it a shadow. I can give a shadow to the score just to make it a bit more readable. Yeah, okay. So that's cool. And this health, the bar will reduce. So I've set my variables up. These are the variables, okay? The integer is going to be changed within the game. And this float will be changed within the game script. Will change within game script. This is the UI element that is displayed. Does that make sense? So there's a score happening in the game and there's a UI element that is being updated outside on the screen. So we have this. Now, if I hit something called as enemy, now let me name that as enemy. So this enemy, it doesn't have a tag yet. See the tag? I have to add a tag. The name doesn't matter. I have to add a tag. I'm going to add a tag, all lowercase enemy. I just have to remember what I've called it and how I've called it. So if I hit the enemy, what am I going to do? I'm going to say health minus equals 0.2, let's say. And because it's a floating point, I must put f. This is the same as, this line is the same as health is equal to health minus 0.2 f, okay? Whatever the health is, 0.2 f, which means I must start with 100, which means I must start with float health equals 1. Let's start with 1. Start with 1f. So these two lines are the same. Use any one of them, whichever makes sense to you. I'll leave the other one in the script. I've simplified the script. I've removed the methods. We don't need start, but we'll keep it in case we need later on. In update, this script is quit on escape. This script is move player with input from arrow keys, okay? And that was just a one-line script, by the way. This bracket belongs to this bracket here.
You don't have a K to the store?
No. So this bracket belongs to this bracket here. Moving is only one line, by the way. Quitting is just this tiny one line, application quit. And there's an if statement, if the escape key has been quit. Now, the next script. If enemy, then reduce the health. Let's actually see if this works. Errors? No errors? Oh, I haven't updated my display. I also have to update my display. So health is this for sure. But what about player health? Player health dot fill amount is equal to, in update, constantly we must say that the player health, the fill amount will be equal to health dot no, the fill amount is actually a float value. So we can actually just do health. So we don't need to convert the string. So whatever this health is, that will reflect in the player health fill amount. I'm just going to put a comment there. Updates the green health bar, okay? And this one, whenever there's collision, it updates the health value. Whenever there's a collision, health will go down. And this one constantly, within the update, will constantly look at this value health. Whenever health goes down, the fill amount will change. Let's test it. No, doesn't work. I'm doing something wrong here. Let me just see debug.log and let me output health and let me see if actually health is changing over time. That will give me an idea. And I won't maximize this. Just give me all of these errors from a previous script. Nothing to do with here. So the collision is not working at all. Let me see whether I've placed it. On collision, enter. So it is outputting the health 1. It's not changing when I hit it. I'll pause the video and I'll fix it and come back. Okay, so it seems this was the issue. We'll try it. It may not have been the case. I added a tag, but I did not apply the tag. Now, this red box has the tag enemy. Let me see if it does work now. I have some more errors. Got 2 semicolons. So that belongs here. This belongs to, I got an extra bracket here. So that's my if statement. That comes here. So now this health at the bottom should change. See that 0.8 has become 0.8. See, it's become 0.6 at the bottom. Can you see the at the very bottom and on the bar as well? So that's working now. So if I have various enemies and they come towards me, touch me, and of course I can say here, for example, if health less than 0, and we just learned it, application dot quit, and yep, since it's a function, give it the arrows, the brackets, sorry, I mean. So the thing is, it does it once because it's only on enter. Just like it has on collision enter, you can have on collision stay, on collision exit, and if so, on stay means as long as you're touching it, it'll keep on reducing the health. It's gone to minus, but I think if I actually make a build, and let me test a build. like the green. Okay, so it did quit. Okay, so the quit works. But yeah, in the same way, when I win, I can go to application load level victory screen that, hey, you're great, and all that stuff. The next script I've kept aside is the trigger. Okay, so that's like my health pack, and you can also destroy it once you're done. Use them very carefully. Both of these scripts sit outside the update, so that's a function update, right? That's the beginning of the update. That's the end of the update. They sit outside update. Let's go and fix this up. So this other fellow here, my health pack, I'm going to add a tag. I'm going to call him, click on the plus sign, make a new tag, health. By the way, when you move machines, go to a new project on a new machine, you have to reassign tags. You can get object by tag name, by the name, by many things. Tags you will end up having to reassign. And also remember our previous mistake. Once you add a tag, it does not automatically add it. You have to go and add the tag health. So let's see now. So this is a trigger. It's very important. Bear in mind that if you're going to walk over something, it should be marked as a trigger. If you're going to use the on trigger function, on trigger should be checked, otherwise on trigger won't work. So I unchecked it. So if it goes to health, we must destroy the game object for sure, but before that we need to say, where is it, score. I can say score plus equals 5, or I can even change the health. If it's a health pack, I should go back and say health plus equals 0.2. I get some extra health back, and I say score, because I've done a good thing, I'll give myself a score of 10. Now I'm going to comment this out. Sometimes you want to pick up something and destroy it as soon as you cross over it. I'm going to just keep it. I will not destroy this. I will not use the destroy script for now. Okay, so that there needs to be F. Also, I need to update my score somewhere here. So that doesn't need to be there. I'm going to have update score on screen. Updates the green health bar on screen. Okay. What am I going to say? Player score. See, that's the text one. Player score. Player score dot value. Or dot text. Dot text is equal to the integer score to string. You convert the integer score to a string and put it into player score. So hopefully this will update. The score is updating here, okay, when I pop over the green, but the screen also has to update. So let's see if I actually go over here. 10, 20, 30, 40. Let me see this. So I broke it. No, because I'm giving myself extra health, so my health has gone too much. Okay? Yeah, my health has gone over. So, hang on. I must, if health is less than 0.8, okay? Only then you give me extra health. Okay? If health is less than 0.8, only then you give extra health. So now, yep, now it will give me extra health. Previously what was happening, it was giving, it went over, and that's why it took me some time to come back. You didn't give me? Yeah, it goes to 0.8. Let me make it 1. 1. Okay. I've lost health. So it'll keep giving me health till I go to 1. And it gives me and you see this, I should say on trigger exit, so that when I walk over it, see, when you exit it, it gives me the points. See that? Now you can have things to get scores, things to lose health, things to gain health. You can have all sorts of objects. But these are the two primary colliders that will help you to have some kind of a game mechanics going on. Cool? Okay, I'll end my session here. I'll put up this video and the scripts.